but it is another week, and so we are at it again with another concept. This concept is a little weighty, so please bear with us. Please show us much grace as we endeavor to talk about concept number 10. What does it mean to be tolerant? And I am honored to be here today by yet another special guest. Like I said, I'm honored to be at a church that not only believes the gospel but lives it out. The pillars at our church, we invest.
Invite,
invest, and inspire. You know, and I'm here with one who just hits that on a weekly basis. These pillars at the church. I am extremely grateful for this brother right here. Like I said, just his love for the Lord, his love for the body. And in fact, you know, when we're talking about tolerance, I actually have to be extremely tolerant of this individual today because he kind of goes against my nature. He's a distance runner. And if anybody knows me, I'm more of a sprinter. I don't understand how these distance runners do it. They just love running. I don't understand it. When I came to pick him up today, he just came from a run, had to put on his clothes and everything. And so I was like, there you go, man. I'm just kind of envious of just that passion just to run. But I am honored to be here with my brother, Sandy Roberts. How you doing today, man?
Brandon, it's an honor to be included. You know, I shouldn't walk out of this room right now. The fact that you are a sprinter, I only deal with distance people. But I'm gonna hang tight. You know, I want to be tolerant, if you will,
exactly.
of others who don't appreciate what I do. You know, I mean, I could really walk through probably a good part of the New Testament, and even in the epistles, we read time and time again Paul references running. So I have to say, it is a godly thing to run, and you know, hey, I'm just trying to do the Lord's work through running. All right, listen, let me have that. It's an honor to be here. I remember the first time, one of the first times you rolled up to Group Exegesis, you came in and dropped a book about this big with your name on it. I said,
it was crazy.
I said, this brother rolled up. Not only is he bringing his wisdom and his expertise, he's an author, and it was, man, I was like, I might need to step away from Group Exegesis because this is we're a whole new level, a whole new caliber of guys that are coming through. And man, I've obviously been following up close at some level, but then from afar, just what you're doing, man, and encouraged to see, man, the authenticity, really, that's a big thing for me, of what you do through this and people you're touching. And you're doing it faithfully and out of obedience, not looking for an audience. And I think God will honor that. And with whatever the next step of this process is in terms of viewership and or people reached. And I know that that's your heart. And so it's an honor to be included. Can't say no one who's rolled through here, I feel inadequate, but again, if we can stay along with the theme, thank you for your tolerance. So,
no, absolutely. It's kind of crazy too because I like people to be there at the Genesis, and you were there because, like you said, it came to church, and it's one thing to like talk about writing a book just in the abstract sense,
right.
But then when someone says, "Buy that,"
no,
and you can see it, and you got. I think somebody was like, I thought it was just gonna be like you know a Word document,
right,
or something like that, like a manuscript. But nah, I showed them the book.
No, like you had gotten the book printed, and I think it said something like "Don't share" or something. So I felt even more exclusive. It was like we were being brought into, this was like confidential. But what that showed to me was the level of commitment that you had, and that this was a calling. This was not something flippantly that you had decided. It was something that you felt really deep. And that, man, as someone who operates out of passion, and that's something that God has just blessed me with in terms of just kind of how I have experienced Him, is just the passion I have for Him. When I see others engaged in their passion projects that ultimately make much of Him, man, I'm like honored to be included at any level. So to be here today, I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here with you, but it really is, and just to see like you're going after it. Because I mean, you could wait until you finish seminary, until there's all these but you just not, like, it's a calling, and so therefore you make the initiative. You're stepping out because you feel like God has given you something, and you're running with it. And so when you brought that book, I was like, all right, This is for real. This is for real. And then, of course, you're doing the podcast, and I'm sure you guys got some other stuff lined up in what's to come. But and you are starting, and you are catalytic in the conversations that you're bringing up. And man, I'm just honored you're a Vision, bro. I'm honored that Vision can get the love. They can get the love from when Brandon Russell makes it big. Vision Church, y'all. I want to put that out there. Vision Church getting that love. All right, he could have been anywhere else, but he came to Vision. Shout out, Pastor. who I'm going to make a call out, and if we could, Pastor Jerome Gay will be on this podcast. I'm calling it right now. We've had a lineup of people from Vision Church. We've had Brent Wright was hosting for a little bit, a slew of other people. But let me make sure, Brandon, who has not come on this yet?
I think it's Pastor Jerome Gay.
Pastor Jerome Gay. I can't wait till you roll through, and I hope that Brandon puts you on the hardest topic out of this book. Facts. I'm gonna throw that out there. That's a call out. That's a shout out and a call out right now. I hope he slices and dices this podcast or that part. That's what's gonna be big, is me calling out Pastor Jerome.
Pastor, you heard that. That was not me. That was Sandy.
That's right, Pastor.
That was Sandy.
Please don't fire me. That's all. I mean, I'm not for real. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding?
Sandy, I appreciate that so much. And you kind of hit it right on the head. This was a passion. This is something that the Lord put on my heart. Mm-hmm. If anybody knows me, I'm just a very chill person.
Right.
You know, I'm not very passionate about many things, but the one thing I am passionate about is communicating the gospel. When I heard it changed my life. I didn't grow up in the church. It was kind of foreign to me, you know, looking at those people who go hard for the Lord. It's that ain't for me. I believe in God, but I don't need to, you know, go that crazy with it. I still want to do what I want to do. But when I heard the gospel and just understood the weight of my sin before a holy God, and, you know, the price that was paid for me, I just wanted to communicate it with people, because I came from an environment where people just can think completely different from me. And so it's how do I communicate this to my family, to my friends who look at me like I'm crazy for believing in, you know, some book that was written thousands of years ago, and, you know, have all these questions that seem to go unanswered. And I wanted to the book is structured where I'm asking a question, so it's kind of like an apologetic question. And I didn't want it to be cupcake. I wanted to deal with hard issues. And this is one of the hard topics that we have to address when we're talking about tolerance. And so, like I said, just bear with us. We're going to try to treat this topic with a lot of grace, without compromise. But the way that I structured them, I hopefully you can follow my thought process and the progressions that I make, because a lot of it is just general observations that, whether you hold to a biblical worldview or you don't, you can kind of follow my thought process to the end goal. And so how I started this topic was just giving a definition of what tolerance is, because it's just, we throw words out there, but I don't even know if we truly define them. So that's the first thing that I do. I say tolerance is the willingness to accept feelings, habits, or beliefs that are different from your own, and just based off that definition, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. No, I mean, within that, I mean, isn't it crazy, Brandon? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm at a place in time right now where the juxtaposition of, we live in probably the most tolerant yet most intolerant time. It's not like an apparent contradiction, right? But I mean, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, we're in the midst of racially, politically, socioeconomically one of the most tense and intolerant times, and yet we're in a time and place where, man, a lot of things go in the same regard. And so, man, the reason why I love this is, man, is as a believer with a biblical worldview, this is something we will have to, and as millennials, we will have to wrestle with for the rest of our faith walk until we're called home, and tolerance will just be with the King. We are going to have to wrestle with issues of tolerance, and we're really going to have to be sharp on what is set biblically where we're going to stand, because the reality is while there's a lot of tolerance for different, there is becoming greater intolerance for the Christian worldview.
And I think you hit it right on the head, because, and I kind of discussed this, tolerance has become propaganda, because just in and of itself, tolerance is good. However, as I discussed further, we have to have standards and limits. And so the first thing that this is what I say, the primary examples of intolerance, because like I said, tolerance is a good thing. The problem is when we become intolerant. And I say the primary examples of intolerance center on what? Gender, ethnicity, and sexual orientation.